Hello everybody and welcome back to RogueTech, where we have some repairs to do. No doubt about that. The question is, are we going to wait for all of these? Well, that is a good question. We're 13 million C-bills right now, and there's some pretty long waits here. There's no doubt about that. I think we're going to go ahead and tick forward as is right now. We can hit this financial report without a major issue, but before we get to that financial report, we'll take a look at our situation. I'm guessing, though, because of how long it's going to take the Mauler and the Annihilator to be back, I'm guessing we're going to need to continue to tick forward beyond the financial report, unless we were to reprioritize our repairs, which I'm not currently going to do. I want to get the Fafnir back fairly swiftly. Yeah, so we can definitely see that there's going to be some, a lot of mechs. There's going to be a lot of mechs that are not ready by the financial report, as expected. Let's go ahead and tick forward, take the financial report. We're still up over 11 million C-bills. There we go. And the Fafnir will finish up now. There we go. So with our repairs finishing up, that's excellent. I want to check the mech bay, see if we missed anything in the manual repairs. No, that looks good. Okay. So we'll hop into the barracks, see if our only remaining mech warrior, I believe that is Kodiak? Yes. Our only remaining mech warrior who is not maxed out has anything to get, and he does. So we're going to grab a point of gunnery here.
Training confirmed.
Fantastic. And now we're ready to deploy. So let's go ahead and do so. And where are we going to deploy? Well, we're still over that 10 million mark. So let's go down here from the bottom up, the highest difficulty, and see what types of missions are available. Escort, recovery. Here's a destroy base. This might be an interesting option. It's against local government as well. So we should expect that there's going to be artillery turrets there. At 7.5 skulls, I'm not entirely convinced that there's even a chance for railgun turrets, but I think this is our best bet. We're going to take this. This is not a free priority salvage, and it's only 300,000 C-bills, so I think we're going to run this straight down the middle. With only 1.8 million max pay, we're actually not really expecting this to be particularly challenging, which is good. We want one that's not amazingly challenging because, not because of cash, not because of repair costs, but because of timing. We want to be able to, I want to drop the awesome here and we'll put in the longbow. I think we'll leave Kodiak in that. We want to be able to have all of our repairs for this one done before the next month tick. We only have 19 days. So it's going to be a little bit of a thing, but we're going to do this on the off chance that there's a railgun turret. I think it's pretty unlikely. We're much more likely to run into Sniper Thumper and Arrow 4 turrets here. But it's also against local government, so we should be able to just brush aside the resistance that exists, which I don't expect will be amazingly strong. It'll be okay. It will be acceptable in terms of, like, performance, I think. But I don't expect this to be extraordinarily difficult. Honestly, the majority of the reason why we're picking this mission is on the off chance of a railgun turret. We need to get ourselves some railgun ammo if we want to get that thing online, and I really, really do. So let's see what we've got available here. Probably not a railgun turret, let's be honest. Probably not, but there is a chance, I think. I have no idea what the actual logic is for generating that, in terms of, like, difficulty required for a railgun turret. But fingers crossed. We're going to destroy the local government structures and escape. The local government manufacturing facility on Alula Australis is an illegal intrusion into our territory, and a cover for military personnel and units. Our efforts to resolve this through diplomatic channels have been rebuffed, so we're now turning to a military solution. The facility must be destroyed. We should expect heavy resistance. Comstar isn't saying what's in that facility, but whatever it is has them riled up. Yeah, Darius is saying this. I'm not actually expecting heavy resistance because the max pay salvage ratios are not amazing. So I think this will be easier than a standard 7.5 skull difficulty mission.
Command interface initiated.
Okay, do we have allies? We do not.
Ready for action.
Now, it wants us to drop down here, which is an awkward location indeed. Up here is a much better location for us. Perhaps over here? Let's see, we see... Am I blind, or do I not see any turret emplacements? Interesting. Well, I think for now we're going to go ahead and deploy over here. Well, over here. I'm a little bit suspicious about that salamander positioning. I think that that might require careful maneuvers to get out of there. We're just going to deploy these manually. Okay. So let's see what we've got. There are indeed turrets, and they are not on standoffs. Okay, so we see 2 Arrow 4 turrets, and that's it so far. We also see a Thunderbolt and a Sunder. Okay, not too bad. The Salamander can sprint its way on forward into this cover.
Right,
We only have range on this Arrow 4 turret, but we now see a Thumper turret in here as well as a Shrek command tank and a Heliopolis. Okay, so that Heliopolis is probably a pretty high priority for us. Perhaps after the turrets. We're going to hit this Arrow 4 turret, and I don't think there's necessarily 500 armor. Maybe there is a point in using AX rounds here. If we use AX, we can probably one-shot this Arrow 4. I'm going to fire the MRMs before the SRM-6.
Lock on target.
Okay, we got a structure exposure there.
Good.
The Heliopolis moves and fires on the Salamander. Okay. Using Infernals, that's pretty much as expected. Like I said, that Heliopolis would likely become a pretty major target for us. The Mauler is going to move out over here. And who are we going to go for? Finishing off the Arrow 4, I feel like is overkill for the Mauler right now. We could go for this Arrow 4 turret. That Thumper is not well located for us. This Thumper is out of range of our Heavy Gauss, so I think that we are definitely going to Warlord and fire at this Arrow 4 turret. I'm going to fire the Light AA missile racks as well.
Tell me what to do.
Okay, we got a little bit of internal damage in
All
there,
out of LRMs, Commander.
but that Arrow 4 turret is quite low on its armor now. The Thunderbolt moves up, goes for the Mauler. Okay, that's fairly expected. Next up is going to be our Annihilator. The Annihilator is going to move over here, and I think we probably look to finish off this Arrow 4. 46% hit odds there. We could chunk armor off of this Thunderbolt. I think that's... I don't think that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to finish off this Arrow 4 turret. I'm only going to fire a single LBX AC-10 and the LRM-20 Zeus. I do expect that this finishes the Arrow 4. And there we go.
Turret destroyed.
Okay, next up is going to be our Fafnir. The Fafnir is going to sprint forward over here.
Roger. Double time.
And the only thing that we can actually fire at with Fafnir is the Thunderbolt. We can only fire the MRMs, so we're going to just potshot that a little bit, strip off a little bit of armor. Not a lot going on there, but that's okay.
Orders.
The Madcap Mark II is going to move up over this direction, I think. I want to check. Yes.
Full speed, no target.
Did we fail our sensor roll here? Nope, that was just range. Okay, gotcha. So we'll go ahead and Warlord. And we're looking to hit this Arrow 4 turret here. Yeah, that's a Thumper turret and a Thumper turret. The Arrow 4 turret is the bigger threat. So we'll go ahead and hit this. We may destroy it, but I don't think it's necessarily going to happen.
Roger that.
Yeah, we needed crits to have that happen. So there we go.
Hit.
It's not destroyed. Base 13 is going to be this Sunder. Let's see what it does. It moves up. Shoots at the Fafnir, stray shots both of them. Okay. Interesting.
Standing by.
At this point, our Bull Shark is going to move. We're going to move up the Bull Shark, and for the purposes of splash damage, is this in range? Maybe. We're going to drop artillery on this Thumper, which will do base damage as well. I don't expect this to kill the Thumper, and we might take a pretty good amount of damage overall from the amount of artillery that's still on the field facing us going into this next round. Well, before these guys move anyway. So we dropped on this side, which means we never had a chance to hit this guy, which is sad. But that's, I guess, okay. Phase 13 is going to be another mover, the Shrek. That's fine.
What? No.
Our Boar's Head is moving up over this way. We're trying to spread out over here a little bit. And we could, again, go for this Thumper, or we could go for the kill on the Arrow 4. And I think that is actually the bigger gain for us right now. So we're going to go for the kill on the Arrow 4. We do not want to take those Arrow 4s. The Thumpers are better for us than the Arrow 4s. Next up is our Longbow, which is going to step back over here.
Position confirmed.
We could fire on this Sunder, we could fire on the Thunderbolt, we could fire on the Heliopolis, we could fire on the Thumper turret back here, or this Thumper turret over here. I'm a little surprised that hit odds are better on this Thumper. Like, that actually does surprise me. Yeah, no visuals. Fair enough. Well, let's just strip some armor off of this Thumper turret. There we go. So we're going to take fire from both of these Thumper turrets. Well, that's rude. Both of them firing indirect and getting a hit directly on that Fafnir. Wow. 4 direct hits on the Fafnir there. That's lucky for them. But, I mean, the Fafnir can take that. And the splash damage isn't that bad. So the Salamander will move up here. It's in the middle of a bunch of fire. Right? And the question is, can it get away with firing anything? Certainly not the MRMs. It can get away with firing the SRM-6 streak.
Here we go.
Okay. So that's a little damage to that Sunder, not a lot. Our Mauler is going to step up over this direction.
Got it.
We do not have hit odds on this Thumper, but we can fire on the Sunder or the Thunderbolt. Neither of those are amazingly good hit odds. Okay. We do want to hit this Heliopolis fairly soon as well, but for now, we're going to fire on this Sunder. I do expect that this is not going to do very much.
Right, Commander.
Never mind! 2 direct hits with the Heavy Gauss, one-shotting the Sunder. Well, that's why we take those low-odds shots. Sometimes that happens. Okay, so the Thunderbolt moves up, goes for the Fafnir. This is to be expected at this point. Okay,
Ready for orders.
so the Magcat Mark II is going to step forward. There's a lot of fire over here.
Location confirmed.
But the Magcat Mark II should be fine with that. Now, we could fire just our LRMs over this way. That is an option. What's the chances on the Heliopolis? 23%. Not great. Okay. So I think we're going to go for the Thunderbolt. We're going to fish for some through armors here, but by and large, this is mostly going to be armor strip. Okay. Not too bad there. Wait, the Heliopolis just didn't move. It could have dropped additional heat on our Salamander, and that would have been problematic for us, but it didn't do anything. So we're going to move up with our Fafnir here. This is still in the flames. We're even going to Vigilance it because of its stability, and also because it's been taking a pretty good amount of damage. And we're going to fire on the Thunderbolt here. Are we going to fire the UAC-20s in X2 mode? I think not. I think we're going to pot shot like this. That was one solid hit there. Okay. Not too bad.
Ready for orders.
So the Longbow is hopping out of the fire here. And we could fire on either of these mechs, but we're going to, I think, go for this thumper turret unless hit odds are still better over here. They actually are for the ELRMs and not for the enhanced LRMs. The question is, do we think that's worthwhile? We're gaining about 6% chance on the ELRM 20s and losing about 6% chance on the enhanced LRM 15s. Most of our damage is in those ELRM 20s, so I think that that's worthwhile. We're going to fire at this thumper turret. We are likely to get through its armor here, but we're unlikely to destroy it. Yeah, as expected.
Scored a critical hit.
Okay, so next up is our Bull Shark, which is going to continue to move up.
Moving
The
out.
Bull Shark is going to continue to hit this thumper turret, I think, or we could alternatively hit the Heliopolis. But we do need to destroy this base at the same time. The Heliopolis is the bigger threat, I think. Hit odds are very low, but this is artillery we're talking about. What's our LRM hit odds? 21% versus 29 versus 44. You know, we could eliminate this thumper turret just overall. Let's do it. Let's get that off the field so we don't have to worry about that damage anymore.
Brought
Excellent.
it down, Commander.
Next up is, of course, going to be the Annihilator, which is going to walk up over this way.
Moving to position.
And what are we going to go for here? I'd love to go for this thumper turret, but the Annihilator is really not in a good position for that. We're going to Warlord and fire on this Thunderbolt, and we're going to fire like so. We're mostly aiming not to do huge amounts of damage to this Thunderbolt right now, but to get him unsteady and ditch these 3 evasive pips.
Confirmed.
And that's indeed exactly what happened. We also got a decent armor strip there, so that's good. The Boar's Head is going to move up over here, and I think that the Boar's Head is absolutely hitting the Heliopolis. We're going to Warlord, and let's see what we get here for hit odds. It's okay. That Heliopolis has got dual sniper artilleries. Our sniper artillery wildly missed, but the Arrow 4 did okay, as did the LRMs. Okay, so this will be the Shrek. Yep, that moves up. Fires on the Mauler. To be expected.
Wow, that was bad.
That's okay.
Okay, that hurt.
So they're hitting the Fafnir yet again with their thumpers.
Damn it.
2 direct hits again. Okay. And yeah, the Heliopolis didn't move that round, which is strange. But the Fafnir is going to step forward here.
Heading out.
Now, its heat is becoming an issue for it, for sure. The Thunderbolt is still pretty low on hit odds here. And what is the reason for that? From burning forest into forest. Fair enough. Okay, so we're going to not fire the UACs here, I think. Let the recoil fall off there. And we'll just fire the rest. Okay, a little bit of armor damage there.
Commander.
Now, the Salamander is in a much better position now. So we're going to move up, and we are going to fire on this Thunderbolt. Now, are we going to fire AX rounds? Probably not here. The Thunderbolt is running low on armor, so I think we're better off firing improved. Structure exposure and an engine crit there.
Inflicted some heavy damage.
And panic level critical. Unfortunately, the Thunderbolt moves instantly, but the structure exposures do help a lot. So the Thunderbolt moves up and fires at the Mauler. Doesn't do very much damage.
Minimal damage, Commander.
I like it.
Waiting for orders.
Next up, our Mauler is going to step back over here, I think. Well, no, it's not. We're going to stay put exactly where we're at. I would like to fire on the Thunderbolt. The Mauler's not really the best crit fisher. Hit odds are actually identical here. If we hit the flank of the Shrek with the heavy Gauss, we could straight up kill him. Odds of that are low, I think. But it is a possibility.
Roger that.
We got a through armor crew compartment crit there. Okay.
Critical hit, Commander.
But we didn't kill it.
Getting
So
pretty
now
hot
the
here, Commander.
Heliopolis moves, and let's see what... No sniper artillery fire again from the Heliopolis.
Orders.
That's very interesting. So the longbow is going to position out over here, and it needs to be working on this thumper turret. Absolutely. There's no way around it. So we're going to hit this thumper turret. We need to be concerned about heat, so we can't fire our enhanced LRM-15s. But we're going to get some armor strip on that
Engaging
thumper.
with target.
Okay. Sounds good.
Those heat levels.
Now, if they're not going to be firing with the Heliopolis, we're going to continue to hit the thumper turret here. That actually takes down this building, that artillery shot. That's a huge deal. We now have a clear LOS at this thumper turret.
Commander.
The Madcat Mark II is going to move up here. It could fire at the thumper turret, but it can also fire at this Thunderbolt, and we can crit fish that. Now, our hit odds aren't the best, but I think there's a good chance that we kill this Thunderbolt here. Especially if we use listen kill missiles. And there we go.
Let's go. Let's go.
Target eliminated.
It's exactly what we were looking for. Excellent. So, next up is our Annihilator. The Annihilator is going to move up here.
Affirmative.
We have a choice. We can go for the thumper turret, or we can go for the Shrek. Now, we're going to go for the thumper turret here because I think this is almost a guaranteed kill. Almost certainly. It kind of depends on crits, but we'll see.
Target confirmed.
Barely got through the armor. I did expect to get through the armor a little bit more efficiently there, but that's fine. The Boar's Head is going to move up.
Copy.
The Boar's Head is going to look to finish off this thumper turret. This should be a kill on the thumper turret. That said, heat is a concern, but I think we're okay. I want that thumper turret gone. And there we go. I just realized we've been firing Shape Charge on Arrow 4. Okay, yeah, that's definitely a thing we've been doing. So, at this point, the Shrek is going to move. And it will fire on the Salamander. That's fine. It can do that.
Now that was a heavy hit.
Now, the question is the Heliopolis going to start firing now that they have no further artillery out here? That's a good question. The Salamander is going to move up, and it is going to go for the kill here on the Shrek. Did we fail our sensor roll? That looks like a failed sensor roll to me. ECM jamming. Okay, fair enough. And also into Forest. Sure. I do think that we are going to go for this Shrek here. The heat is definitely a concern. We're not going to fire these medium lasers. There's no point in that. Everything else looks okay. Okay, so he didn't manage to shoot down any of those missiles, and the Shrek's armor is very, very low now. The Annihilator is going to move up over here. This is still side arc on this Shrek, which does surprise me. But we're going to hit this guy pretty hard in, I believe this is his weak side. It's not showing a preview, but I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah. I am actually surprised that that didn't kill the Shrek.
Taking a critical hit.
It was very close. But yeah, I'm surprised that that didn't kill him. The Mauler is going to finish the job. Are we going to fire the Heavy Gauss? Maybe just fire the lasers here and sink heat? Odds aren't the best. Yeah, we missed all three of them. That's sad, but it's not unsurprising.
Waiting for orders. Roger that.
Well, it is actually quite unsurprising. Why would I say that? Okay, we're going to finish off the Shrek here with the Fafnir. This should be a kill. Yep.
Enemy
Beautiful. And then all we've got is the Heliopolis, and of course, the Madcat Mark II is going to move up over here. We could lob missiles at the Heliopolis, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Not a lot of armor damage there, but some.
Awaiting orders.
The Bull Shark is, of course, going to also be targeting the Heliopolis. Good long tom shot. And finally, the Boar's Head. So we're going to be running hot here. We're going to have to not fire the LRM.
All right.
Oh, I was still firing shape charge. That's okay. We still got some damage there.
Affecting my performance.
Okay, so the longbow is going to move up over here. It's still running pretty hot, so we're going to hit the Heliopolis with the ELRMs only. Some damage in there. We'll see what it does. It does finally fire again, and we don't know what it shot at.
I'm taking heavy hits, Commander.
Yeah, it would be nice to
A
know.
hard hit there.
Okay. I think it shot up over here. Yeah, that's where it shot. Not too bad. Not too
Waiting
bad
for
at all.
orders.
So the salamander is going to move up here. And what are these? Okay. So this medium military building would be the one to go for. Got it.
Locking on target.
So we didn't eliminate that building, but that's fine.
I'm taking
The
damage.
Mauler is going to move back up over here.
Affirmative.
And we're just going to, I think, finish off one of these buildings if we can. This would be like 264. Firing the heavy Gauss here. But it's not quite going to kill it, but that's fine. Okay.
Standing by.
The Fafnir is going to move up.
On it.
Honestly, we only need 2 buildings destroyed here. We're going to fire at this one.
Firing on target.
Surprisingly, that didn't kill it,
Aye, aye.
but that's okay. The Medcat Mark II is going to move over here. And we're going to lob the LRMs at the Fafnir. Rather, the Heliopolis. Why would I think that was a Fafnir? I have no idea. That makes no sense.
Commander,
Okay, the Annihilator also has LRMs,
that.
so that will also hit the Heliopolis.
affirmative.
Some more armor damage there.
Standing by.
And our artillery is, of course, also targeting the Heliopolis.
Target locked.
That was some internal damage there.
I'm here.
I like it. So we're going to fire this in high explosive for right now, I think. Yes.
This might hurt.
So that Heliopolis has no rear armor remaining.
Watch the heat.
It moves now. And it fires on the Fafnir. Okay. Now that doesn't do a lot of damage. It just puts heat in there, and that's fine.
Pretty damn hot.
We don't actually hate that. That's completely okay.
Standing by.
The longbow is going to fire on the Heliopolis again. Do we have the heat to fire an enhanced LRM-15? We do. Do it.
Roger.
So its front armor is probably starting to get pretty low here.
Hitting you.
The Salamander is going to finish the job on one of these military buildings, and I think it'll be just this large military building and fire the Streak SRMs.
Confirmed.
There we go.
Enemy structure eliminated.
Okay. The Heliopolis moves up and ejects. Okay. That's interesting. The Fafnir is going to move in and finish the mission then. So, yeah, that's completely
Locked
fine.
on target.
There was still 50 HP on this building. That's a
Yes,
lot
Commander.
for how little it looked like there was.
Confirmed.
The Annihilator moves up, and it will finish the job.
Firing on target.
There we go.
Advance to the LZ, Commander. I'm coming in hot.
So do we actually have to get to the LZ? We'll find out. Is there going to be another Lance dropping in? It feels like the mission should have ended there. If there is another Lance, then we'll have to put in a cut. But I'm hoping that we just get out of here.
Standing by.
And I think we will because of the
Affirmative.
compensation of this mission.
What now?
Well, we're just going to move everybody up and sink heat for now. And we're hoping that the mission ends when we exit combat.
Understood.
We'll see if that happens. Nope. It did not. Well, that's weird.
Confirmed.
I guess we'll head for the evac point.
Affirmative.
On the move.
Is there going to be another Lance then?
Moving to position.
This is very strange.
Roger that.
I definitely would not expect another Lance in this context.
I copy.
On my way.
But okay, I guess we'll just sprint our way up to the
Moving
evac
to
zone.
position.
We should be able to get there somewhat
Copy that.
quickly. Except for the longbow. The longbow is going to take a while. So the Fafnir is in position now. The Bull Shark
Affirmative.
moves up. Everybody will get into the evac zone fairly soon
On the
here.
move.
Okay.
Yeah, the longbow is definitely lagging behind. Turns out the longbow is not designed for sprinting.
Position confirmed.
Who would have thought?
Move order confirmed.
Okay, so the salamander is fine. The Annihilator moves up. The boar's head moves up.
Affirmative.
We're there with 4 of 8 units now. So the longbow will sprint up over here. The mauler gets into the
On my
evac
way.
zone. The Annihilator gets into the evac zone.
Confirmed.
And the bull shark doesn't quite make it. That's fine. Everyone else can brace.
Holding.
Now the longbow's starting to get moving a bit.
Awaiting
The
orders.
bull shark will not quite make it into the zone here, actually. That's awkward.
Confirm. Hold.
Okay, bull shark, get in there. Okay, I guess here. It's having a hard time finding a spot it can stand, but sure.
Roger.
So all we need now is to get the longbow in there. I don't know why we have to walk into the evac zone. That's unusual.
On my way.
Usually that means that there's still enemies out there,
And bracing.
but I have no idea where they would be, and I also kind of don't want to fight them. So we're just evacing.
I copy.
Let's get out of here. Okay.
Mission successful.
Very strange that it didn't evac us where we were. I don't know, maybe that's a slight bug or something. Who knows? Regardless, we did take some damage, but not, I think, a huge amount of damage. That thumper turret, or those thumper turrets, repeatedly direct hitting the Fafnir was a little unfortunate in terms of our armor repair times, but it should be okay. We should be able to deploy yet again this month. What do we want for salvage here? We could take a Clan Arrow 4. We already have a couple of those. Sniper artilleries, we already have 1 of those. I'm going to take 1 more, just to be on the safe side. What else might we want? That's kind of it, honestly. That's kind of all we want. We could just take an XL engine just for sale value. Like, that's a pretty valuable thing. Okay. So the medium laser gets out of here. The SRM4s, no thanks. Cockpit basic. Compact heatsink. I guess we can keep that around. An engine core 225. An engine XL. Again, we got that specifically to sell. The Guardian ECM and the basic sensors. Okay. Sounds good. The real question is, just how much damage did we take? Most of our mechs took barely any. There were a couple that took a good amount of armor damage and are going to take some time for that armor to go back on. I'm expecting this to be somewhere in the range of possibly 280,000 C-bills. Well, actually, that might be highballing it, because there were just a couple of mechs that took a pretty hefty amount of damage. The Fafnir did. The Mauler took some damage. There were a number of mechs that took damage, but most of them didn't take a huge amount of damage. So yeah, I think it'll be less than that amount, but let's see. What do you got for us, Yang? Wow, I was actually pretty much right on the money until I revised it. Cool. Go ahead and get started on that, Yang. That is absolutely fine. What kind of timing are we looking at here? 29 days on the Fafnir. That's longer than I expected. So we're definitely going to have to deploy without the Fafnir. Everything else, we should be able to pretty easily get done in the 19 days that we've got here. So that should be fine. We're not going to wait on the Fafnir. It is, however, time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to deploy without the Fafnir. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.